Hey everybody, Greg with Drift Your Journey. We got an exciting video for you today. We're going to be talking about the Rocky Talkie radios. Their newer 5-watt version and the original mountain radio. So they did send me both sets of these at no charge. These probably about 2 years ago, and the new one just recently. So I'm going to go over some of the key differences, and then we're going to go do some real world testing to see how they stack up against each other. If you are interested in purchasing either of these radios from Rocky Talkie, we do have a link down below in the description. If you purchase through our link, it does help support the channel, and it helps us keep working with brands like Rocky Talkie, which is awesome. Anyways, so we've been using the original mountain radio. It's their 2-watt radio for a couple of years now. We brought them down to Baja, and this was the radio I was actually going to purchase when I reached out to them to ask if they wanted to partner. And I was lucky enough to get a set, and we love them. So we have been using these. We've been down in Baja with some friends that have other brands of radios. They can connect up to those. You just got to make sure you're on the right channels and get all the settings right. But we find these to be a far superior product. The battery lasts forever. That's going to be probably the biggest thing for us. We were seeing our friends' batteries were dying pretty quickly. This is supposed to go 4 days. And for the regular mountain radio, it's a 2-watt. It weighs, I have it written down here, 6.1 ounces. It says it's 7.9 ounces with the leash. And there's 128 channels on it. They got a bunch of privacy codes and IP56 splash rating, so not submersible in water, but it does good with snow, moisture, rain, blah blah blah. Just don't throw it in the river. The new one, this is a GMRS radio. It's a 5-watt radio. You do need a license with the FCC to operate it. That's $35 for a 10-year license. But basically you're getting a 5-watt radio, so you got a lot more power in it. It weighs in at 9.1 ounces, so it is a little bit larger. I don't know if you can tell, you probably can't. And a little heavier. So, you know, depending on what you're doing, you got to pick the right model for you. It does have NOAA, so National Oceanic something, I don't even know if that's right, but NOAA weather radio channel, so you can turn it on to get weather information in your area if there is a frequency that it's working on, and NOAA alerts. It also has some GMRS repeater channels in it. So it's a little more elaborate, but the thing I like about it is same thing. You just turn it on, pick the channel. But if you got to get on the repeaters, from what I understand, it's basically, I looked in our area, there's a repeater about 20 miles from here, and it shows that it does like a 50-mile radius. So theoretically, if I could get on that repeater, I could talk through it and it would send our signal out to this huge area. But that's like getting a little more elaborate. So it's capable of doing it, but for simplicity, I just want a radio that I'm going to be able to talk to my other friends with radios at the furthest distance. So this one is IP67, can be submerged into up to 3 feet of water, so a little bit beefier on the water rating. And then there's 22 channels on here, and they both operate in super extreme temperatures. So it says -20 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And then the original mountain radio charges from 0 degrees to 100 degrees, and the new one charges from 10 degrees to 100 degrees. So if it's not super freezing, or you don't have them in an oven, you're probably gonna be able to charge them up. The other thing, distances. So obviously, depending on real world scenarios, which is what we're going to go test here in a minute, you get different distances. So on the original 2 watt, they say line of sight 35 plus miles, which is the same for this one. Super far. In the mountains, you got 1 to 5 on the mountain radio, and you get 1 to 8 on the new 5 watt. And then it says for forests and hills, a half a mile to 3 miles on the original mountain radio, and a half mile to 5 miles on the 5 watt. So theoretically, this one's going to go further. Price points currently 110 per unit for the mountain radio and 165 per unit for the bigger one, the 5 watt. So yeah, let's go and do some testing. If you want to check out our original review video for this one, where we did some real world testing, we'll have that link below also. So I'm basically just going to go for a drive. Jess has the other radios back at the camper, and we're just going to go different ranges and then test them and see if she can hear us. So I'm not very far at all. Can you hear me? I bet she can hear me.
I can hear you.
Perfect, because I didn't go anywhere yet. All right, I'm going to start driving.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go for a drive, and I will tell you our distances, and then we will test them out, and hopefully at some point this one's the only one still working, but we're going to find out. All right, so I'm a little over a mile away, over some hills as you saw. So let's give a test with the regular mountain radio. Can you hear me? She's inside the camper and I am inside the vehicle.
Try again.
Is it staticky?
Very staticky. I can barely hear you.
All right, so she can hear me, barely. Can you hear me on this one? All right, so you just talk on the big one.
Copy that.
Okay, so there you go. So we're already, about a mile and a half away through some hills. So this is mountains. And we were supposed to get 1 to 5 miles on the smaller one, and 1 to 8 miles on the 5 watt. And as you can see, it's clear currently. Okay, I'm going to go further and we'll see how far I can get.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so I am gonna head up the mountains. All right, so I am about 2.5 miles away now. If you can even see, basically, I came from behind this hill over a couple more hills. I am pushing limits, I would assume, so I'm actually going to try it with the window open this time and see what we get. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hear me just fine. All right, I have the window open now. I'm gonna try it with the smaller one, so hold on. Can you hear me on this one?
I can hear you come through the 5 watt, but not the other one.
Okay, so I'm transmitting from the small one, but you can only hear me in the big one. Will you step outside real quick with him?
Okay.
Oh, she's outside now. All right, so just talk through the little one.
This is the little radio.
So it's pretty staticky at this distance. Now send something through the bigger one.
This is the 5 watt radio.
Okay, so on this one it's Staticky for both. All right, talk through the little one again. Okay, so that's pretty staticky. And now through the big one.
This is a test to the 5-watt radio.
Okay, so we can hear it a lot better. It's still staticky at this distance. I'm gonna go a little further up the road. Just turn on just the big one for now. I think it's gonna struggle here pretty quick.
Okay, so I have to stand outside, or can I go back in?
You can go back in. All right, so we're gonna try and max it out here. Okay, so we are a little over 3 miles away. Let's see if I can get her on here. Can you hear me? We added a... That's pretty good. We added a lot more trees, got some more mountains in the way. You inside still?
Yeah, I'm inside. I'm by the window, but I'm inside.
I can hear really good from here, actually. Can you hear me through both of them?
Turn the other one off like you said, so hold on.
She listened. I did too. I turned the other one off.
Okay, talk again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you through both.
All right, let's do one more thing. Run outside and just turn on the smaller one. And I'm going to see if by any chance we get lucky here, because I can hear you pretty good here.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, this is the test of the 5-watt radio.
What about the little one?
This is the test of the small radio.
Okay, so she went through the 5-watt first, so I could hear it was staticky into this one. And then she did the little one. Can you hear me through the small one? Yeah, that's pretty staticky at this point. Let's turn it back on so we can talk normal. All right, I'm back on the 5-watt. Did you say it was really staticky, I would assume?
Yeah, I'm back on the 5-watt. I can hear you through the small radio. It's quite a bit more staticky, but I can hear you faintly.
All right, well, I think that concludes our test. I'm at the gates. Both the roads are closed, so I am going to head back.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so conclusion time. First off, they're both amazing. We've been using that one forever, like I said, and we love the Rocky Talkie products. So, my honest opinion, if you're just going to be a casual user and don't need anything super extreme, and you don't need to dunk it in water, the original mountain radio is probably the way to go because it's lighter weight. The battery lasts super long time still, and you can have pretty good communications. So, you know, when we were down in Baja, just talking to other people in other cars and just traveling, I'll call it light use. No doubt, I would say the mountain radio's probably the way to go. The 5-watt GMRS radio, the pluses for it, so it had the IP67 submersible up to 3 feet, so it's going to be a little more waterproof, and the battery theoretically lasts a little longer. The cons on it, it's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, so if that is an issue for you, you know, that might not be the one to go with. But as you heard in the video, a lot clearer for a lot further distance. So if you're going to be out, you know, deeper in the backcountry, further from your group, If you need the repeater functionality or the weather radio functionality, it's a no-brainer that this is the one to go with. It is a little more expensive, but I'm actually really impressed with the distance we're getting there. But before I even had that one, I've been really impressed with the distance I was getting on this one. So yeah, they're both amazing products. If you are interested in buying, like I said, purchase through our link below. It helps support the channel, and I'm really excited to keep using these because I know they're good and I'm going to keep using them. I think this would be the one I take out hunting and backpacking, maybe on the mountain skiing if I need to. I think this is the one that is great for just on the road, traveling in groups, and just having a quick, lightweight option. Leave any questions, comments below. I'm sure I'll hear plenty of them for me being a non-expert on walkie-talkies, but I like the fact that they are very user-friendly, and you just need to turn them on and start talking more or less. None of that weird stuff. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.